Today we are exposing 5 Scotch brands that are quietly robbing you blind and revealing 5 that deliver far more than their price suggests. Some of the most expensive bottles on store shelves cost 5 times more to buy, while costing nearly the same to produce. The difference is not the whiskey. It is the illusion around it. In the next few minutes, you will see exactly which bottles are draining your wallet and which ones deserve your attention instead. I am sure you do not know half of them. And number 1 completely rewrites what real value in Scotch actually looks like. Number 1. Macallan 12-year-old double cask. Macallan 12 double cask is the perfect example of how a name can quietly inflate the price of an otherwise ordinary whiskey. That clean, elegant bottle and global prestige signal something exceptional before you even take the first sip. At $80 to $100 per bottle, Macallan positions itself as a luxury single malt. The reality inside the glass tells a more complicated story. From a production standpoint, Macallan 12 uses completely standard Speyside methods. It is bottled at 40% ABV, chill-filtered, and adjusted with caramel coloring for visual consistency. These choices are not unusual, but they reduce texture and suppress some natural flavor compounds that contribute to depth and mouthfeel. Independent analyses estimate the production cost of a typical 12-year single malt at roughly $20 to $30. The remaining price difference comes from brand positioning, global demand, and auction-driven prestige. The flavor profile delivers dried fruit, vanilla, and gentle spice. Pleasant, balanced, and easy to drink. But nothing here separates it dramatically from bottles costing half as much. You are paying for reputation, not a leap in craftsmanship. That difference matters more than most drinkers realize. Number 2. Johnnie Walker Blue Label. Johnnie Walker Blue Label is one of the most recognizable luxury Scotch bottles on earth. That deep blue box, gold accents, and heavy glass presentation signal exclusivity before the whiskey even touches your lips. At $180 to $220 per bottle, Blue Label positions itself as a premium experience reserved for special occasions. But the science of flavor concentration tells a very different story. Blue Label is bottled at the minimum legal strength of 40% ABV. Alcohol concentration plays a critical role in carrying aromatic compounds to your nose and palate. Higher-strength whiskeys preserve more volatile esters and phenols, which are responsible for complexity, texture, and layered flavor. At 40%, many of these compounds are diluted, resulting in a smoother but less expressive experience. Chill filtration further removes fatty acids that contribute to body and mouthfeel, leaving the whiskey lighter but less engaging. The flavor itself leans toward mild honey, soft smoke, and gentle sweetness. Easy to drink, completely inoffensive, and engineered for universal appeal. But blind tastings repeatedly show that many lower-priced single malts deliver more complexity and character. What you are paying for here is consistency and prestige, not dramatically superior craftsmanship. The luxury lives in the packaging more than the liquid itself. Number 3. Dalmore 12-year-old. Dalmore 12-year-old stands out immediately on any shelf. That polished glass bottle and iconic silver stag emblem signal heritage, luxury, and craftsmanship before you even look at the price. At $70 to $85, Dalmore places itself firmly in premium territory. But much of its perceived richness begins with something your eyes detect before your palate ever can. Dalmore 12 uses E150A caramel coloring to create its deep amber appearance. This additive does not enhance flavor. Its purpose is purely visual consistency. Studies on sensory perception show that darker colored spirits are often rated as richer and more complex, even when the liquid itself remains unchanged. This psychological effect increases perceived value without improving the whiskey itself. It is also bottled at 40% ABV and chill filtered, both of which reduce the concentration of fatty acids and aromatic compounds that contribute to body and depth. The result is a smooth, approachable profile with notes of orange, chocolate, and mild spice. Pleasant, but relatively light in intensity. Comparable Highland single malts bottled at higher strength often deliver more texture, stronger aroma, and longer finish at lower prices. Here, presentation and branding carry much of the cost. The Stag sells the illusion long before the whiskey can prove it. Number 4. Lagavulin 16-year-old. Lagavulin 16-year-old carries one of the most powerful reputations in the entire Scotch world. That tall green bottle and simple label signal seriousness, tradition, and authority. At $75 to $95, it is positioned as a must-own bottle for anyone exploring smoky Scotch. The whiskey itself is undeniably well-made, but its current price reflects demand and mythology as much as production reality. Peated whiskey like Lagavulin derives its signature smoke from phenols absorbed during barley drying. These compounds create bold aromas of campfire, seaweed, and charred wood. Lagavulin delivers these characteristics clearly, with layered smoke, dried fruit, and maritime saltiness. The structure is balanced, and the finish lingers. There is real craftsmanship here. The problem lies in the price inflation driven by cult status and global demand. Over the past decade, Lagavulin 16 has nearly doubled in price in many markets, without significant changes in production method or aging. Other Islay distilleries using similar peat levels and maturation techniques offer comparable complexity at much lower cost. You are paying extra for the legacy, the recognition, and the story attached to the label. The whiskey earns respect, but the premium increasingly reflects reputation rather than dramatically superior liquid. Number 5. Glenlivet 12-year-old. Glenlivet 12-year-old is one of the most widely distributed single malt scotches in the world. Its tall green bottle and historic name signal trust, tradition, and reliability. At $45 to $60 in many markets, it positions itself as a premium introduction to single malt whiskey. The reputation was earned decades ago, but modern production realities have quietly shifted the value equation. Glenlivet 12 is bottled at 40% ABV and chill filtered, both of which reduce the concentration of flavor-carrying compounds. Alcohol acts as a solvent for esters and aromatic molecules, which contribute to complexity and mouthfeel. Lower bottling strength results in a lighter, softer profile that appeals to beginners but limits depth for experienced drinkers. Chill filtration further removes fatty acids that create viscosity and texture, producing a cleaner appearance but less structure on the palate. The flavor offers green apple, light citrus, and gentle vanilla sweetness, balanced, approachable, and easy to drink. But many newer distilleries now bottle at higher strengths, preserve natural oils, and offer greater intensity at similar or lower prices. Glenlivet 12 remains competent, but its price increasingly reflects global brand dominance rather than a clear advantage in craftsmanship or flavor delivery. But not every distillery plays that game. Some focus less on marketing and more on the liquid itself. These next 5 bottles deliver real craftsmanship, real flavor, and real value. Number 1. Glenallachie 12-year-old. Glenallachie 12-year-old is what happens when a distillery prioritizes flavor over marketing budgets. At $60 to $70, it competes directly with heavily advertised bottles, yet delivers a level of intensity and structure those brands often dilute away. The difference begins with how it is bottled. Glenallachie 12 is bottled at 46% ABV, significantly higher than the industry standard 40%. This higher alcohol concentration preserves volatile aromatic compounds that create depth, texture, and complexity. It is also non-chill filtered and presented in natural color, meaning the fatty acids and esters responsible for mouthfeel remain intact. These compounds enhance viscosity and allow flavors to linger longer on the palate. The flavor profile opens with dark honey, dried raisins, and rich toffee. As it develops, layers of cinnamon, cocoa, and roasted nuts emerge. The finish remains warm, textured, and persistent. In blind tastings and international competitions, Glenallachie 12 has repeatedly scored alongside bottles costing twice as much, including major gold medal wins. This is whiskey built for drinkers rather than collectors. Every dollar goes into maturation, cask quality, and production integrity. You are paying for the liquid, not the illusion surrounding it. Number 2. Aberfeldy 12-year-old. Aberfeldy 12-year-old delivers something many expensive scotches quietly lose: balance backed by proper maturation and careful distillation. At $45 to $55, it sits in a price range crowded with heavily marketed competitors, yet its production approach focuses on preserving natural character rather than manufacturing visual appeal. Aberfeldy uses long fermentation periods, which allow yeast to produce more esters. These esters are chemical compounds responsible for fruity and floral aromas in whiskey. Longer fermentation creates greater aromatic complexity before the aging process even begins. This gives Aberfeldy a stronger foundation for flavor development compared to faster, high-volume production methods. It is bottled at 40% ABV, but the distillery carefully manages cask selection to maximize flavor extraction during aging. The result is a nose filled with honey, soft orchard fruit, and subtle vanilla. On the palate, it delivers warm malt sweetness, light spice, and gentle oak structure. The texture remains smooth without feeling empty or diluted. Aberfeldy 12 consistently earns high scores in international competitions because it delivers clarity, balance, and consistency. You are not paying for exaggerated branding. You are paying for fermentation precision, careful maturation, and a distillery that lets science and patience do the work. Number 3. Highland Park 12-year-old. Highland Park 12-year-old delivers something many whiskeys in its price range fail to achieve: genuine complexity created through traditional production methods. At $50 to $60, it offers a balance of sweetness and smoke that reflects careful control over every stage of the process. One of the key differences lies in Highland Park's use of lightly peated barley. Peat smoke contains phenolic compounds, which contribute earthy, smoky, and slightly medicinal aromas. Unlike heavily peated whiskeys that can overwhelm the palate, Highland Park uses a measured level that enhances complexity without dominating other flavors. This balance allows multiple flavor layers to remain detectable. It is also matured in a high percentage of sherry-seasoned oak casks. Oak aging drives chemical reactions that produce vanillin, lactones, and tannins. These compounds create flavors associated with vanilla, coconut, dried fruit, and spice. Proper maturation allows these molecules to integrate gradually, producing a smoother and more structured whiskey. The result is a profile of honey, dried fruit, gentle smoke, and warm spice. The texture feels full, the aroma remains expressive, and the finish develops gradually. Every component reflects deliberate production decisions that prioritize flavor integrity over mass market appeal. Number 4. Ardbeg 10-year-old. Ardbeg 10-year-old is a clear example of how production choices directly influence flavor intensity and overall value. At $55 to $70, it delivers a level of concentration and structural depth that many more expensive bottles struggle to match. The difference begins with how little interference occurs between distillation and bottling. Ardbeg 10 is bottled at 46% ABV, which preserves more aromatic compounds compared to lower-strength whiskeys. Alcohol carries phenols, esters, and aldehydes, which are responsible for smoke, fruit, and spice aromas. Higher strength allows these molecules to remain active, creating a more expressive and layered sensory experience. It is also non-chill filtered, meaning fatty acids remain suspended in the liquid, contributing to thicker texture and longer finish. The peat level in Ardbeg is among the highest in Scotch production. Peat smoke infuses barley with phenolic compound charcoal, sea spray, and roasted malt. These compounds interact with oak-derived vanillin during aging, creating balance between smoke and sweetness. The result is powerful, yet controlled. Smoke arrives first, followed by citrus, vanilla, and roasted grain. The finish lingers, evolving gradually rather than disappearing quickly. This is craftsmanship you can actually taste. Number 5. Loch Lomond 12-year-old. Loch Lomond 12-year-old proves that intelligent engineering inside the distillery can produce exceptional whiskey without inflating the price. At $40 to $50, it delivers technical advantages in production that directly translate into greater flavor control and complexity. Loch Lomond uses uniquely designed straight-neck copper stills, which allow distillers to precisely control reflux. Reflux is the process where heavier vapor condenses and falls back into the still, while lighter vapor continues upward. This separation determines how clean, fruity, or rich the final spirit becomes. Greater reflux control allows the distillery to target specific flavor compounds with far more precision than traditional still designs. It is bottled at 46% ABV, non-chill filtered, and presented in natural color. These choices preserve fatty acids, esters, and aromatic molecules that contribute to texture and aroma intensity. Scientific analysis shows these compounds enhance viscosity and prolong flavor perception on the palate. The result is a profile filled with baked apple, honey, toasted grain, and gentle smoke. The texture feels full, the aroma remains expressive, and the finish develops gradually. This is careful distillation translated directly into measurable value inside the glass. The truth about Scotch is simpler than most brands want you to believe. Price does not guarantee better whiskey. Production choices do. Alcohol strength, filtration, fermentation time, and cask quality determine how much flavor survives from distillation to your glass. Marketing determines how much you pay for it. So, the next time you stand in front of a shelf filled with gold labels and heavy glass, remember this. Your palate cannot taste prestige. It can only taste what the distillery was honest enough to preserve. Choose accordingly.